This one's a good one. There we go. That's what we're after today. All right. G'day guys and welcome back to another video. So today I'm out here at a local reservoir and I'm going to be showing you the setup, the rigs and the methods that I use to get onto the big dogs. So lately, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see that I've been doing quite well, uploading regularly of the big slobs of the Redfin. So I'm out here today showing you guys the techniques that I use, but there's a big storm supposed to be passing through soon, so I'm hoping that's going to bring on the fish. But it's a late afternoon, so let's get down to the water and let's get into the fishing. So when it comes to catching the big redfin, what I like to use is the Z-Man baby goats. They're a 3-inch, and I also rig it with a Tackle Tactics size 3 golden jig spinner, and I use a 1/6 of an ounce jig head. It doesn't matter what size you use, but this is just the size I use, and you don't have to have the eyes on it like this one, but that's just my preference. What I like to do is work in the real shallows. You can see in the water here it's quite shallow, but late evening or early morning, that's what I do. I come down to the shallows, and that's usually where I find the big dogs. They come in, they hunt, they sniffing around the weed beds or the logs in the water, and yeah, basically that's my secret technique to it. So we're gonna have a bit of a flick around here in these shallows right here. It's still quite early, but after we have a bit of a flick around, I'm going to show you guys how to rig up the baby goat with the jig spinner, and hopefully that can give you guys a little bit of an insight on what to use, and hopefully you guys can get into the big dogs yourselves. So at the moment the redfin have just recently spawned, so the chances are we're going to get onto a small one, and you won't be able to see it here on the GoPro, but I've got my polarized lenses on and I can see into the water that is quite weedy here. So when it comes to the weed beds, what I like to do is I like to flick out, and then just before it hits the water, flip my bail arm over, hold my rod up high and hold my lure just under the surface, and hopefully, in my mind, that brings out as much tension. Yeah, there we go, good fish. Oh no, he's little fish, but look at that. But he felt like a good one for a second there because he pulled through the weeds. But that's basically how you do it. So all I was doing then was working it over the top of the weed beds, and so I was just keeping it under the surface just a little bit, and that flash on the jig spinner creates quite a large profile. It vibrates, it flashes, and they see the grub and they take it. So there we go, first fish on the board. Let's have a few more flicks around and see if there's some bigger ones. We're going to flick back out here where that other one was. Hopefully there's a bigger one around. So like I said, just rod up high. Yep, oh, we missed him. There's a little one. Yep, there we go, straight on again. Like I said, so recently the redfin just spawned a couple of months ago, so there's a bunch of little ones kicking around, and here we go, look at this. Only another small one again. Hopefully there's some bigger ones around, but that's the technique that I use. So we're going to move around the corner here a little bit, try and work some new ground, because all we seem to be getting here is the real small ones. But then once the sun comes down a little bit, we'll come back around and see how we go. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use one of the baby goats I have in here and pre-rig it, so I've got it for another time, so I don't have to cut my rig. So one thing you do when you pull it, your baby goat out of the packet especially, you do have to break the tail apart. So you just break it apart and bang, easy as that. So what I like to do is I get my jig head. I do my jig head first. This is just my preference. You don't have to do it this way, but so what you do, so you get your jig spinner. I always do it on a angle like this, so it always comes out to the right. So you unclip this little clip here, you unclip it and pull it towards you, and basically you want your jig spinner hanging out like this. So you just put it on that way, you put it on parallel with the jig spinner itself, put it on the hook, bend it up and over, follow the hook, just sort of spin it around, just follow that bar along, and don't forget to clip this back over, and basically that's all you got to do, just to rig your jig spinner up to your soft plastic. But now the best way to line these up is I found sort of just line it up like this. So now I know I'd have to come out here with the hook itself. So what I do is just work it down the body and come out exactly where I had it all eyed up. And you just pull it along. And right there is how you rig your Z-Man baby goat. Easy as that. So now I've got that prepared for next time, so best to do a couple of these in advance, so just in case you ever break off, because I do snag these up a fair bit, but that's the easiest rig, and I'm finding these currently the most effective. And remember, like I said, you do not have to have the ones with the eyes, that's just my preference, but they all jig heads work the same, but that's exactly how it's done, and as easy as that. So get into it and get right into the fishing. So just a quick run over of what I'm also using on the gear side of things. So I'm running a Daiwa Legalis, which is 1.98 meters long. It is a 1.5 to 3 kilo rod, and I'm running a 2,500 Sienna 15-pound braid. I can't remember the diameter, but it's quite thin. And I'm also running 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. So if you guys are interested, that's just what I'm running. So while I had the camera off, I had a bit of a flick around and I managed just to get another small one, but just chucked him back. I think it's time to keep walking on the edge, and we're just going to have a bit of a flick and see if we can find any big dogs. I know we're going to pick up a few little ones, but let's get into it and cue the montage music. There we go. Look at that. He's probably edible size. He'd be pretty much right on 30. See ya, mate. This one's a good one. So what I like to do when I've got a good one, I also like to stick it in the water a little bit as long as I can to see if he's got any mates, because then usually if I've got someone with me, they usually come in behind and get him. But look at this dog. There we go. That's what we're after today. He's not really the biggest, but he'd be pretty, I reckon he'd be mid-30s. Let's chuck him on the brag mat and we'll have a bit of a look at him. All right, there we go. What, 30, 36, almost 37. So, not a bad little chunk, but today's your lucky day, my friend. Let's watch him swim off and we'll get him another day. See ya, mate. So as you can see on that beautiful sunset, the sun is only about half an hour away from setting, so I've got about a 10-minute walk back to the car. So I'm gonna have a few more flicks, so hopefully in them few last flicks we get onto a couple, hopefully a big dog, cross your fingers. But let's get into it just before we knock off. That's one down. We'll have 5. We'll have 5 casts to see how many fish we can get in 5 casts. All right, cast 2. Oh, did you see that? Did you guys see that? There's a nice trout there just come past. Hopefully he grabs it. That'll be a nice little bycatch. There we go. This one feels alright. Oh no, he just pulled through the weed. Oh yeah, he's a good one. That was cast number 3. I almost thought it might have been that trout there. But thanks for coming, buddy. Alright, last cast. I'll slowly move over this way a little bit and see if I can sort of change up the course here. Might be something to the left maybe. Yep. Oh, here we go. This one feels alright. This one feels real nice, actually. Maybe. Oh yeah. There we go, last cast. Oi, he's going on. We're going to chuck him on the brag mat. There we go, look at that, last cast of the day, and we've landed this beautiful redfin. Bloody nice fin colours on him, nice clean colours. So let's chuck him on the brag mat and see what he goes. All right, my guess is going to be about 34, 35. There we go. What's that? 35, 36, 37. Nice 37 centimeters. Let's go. There we go. 37 centimeters. The last fish, the last cast of the day. Thanks for coming, buddy. See you next time. And in saying that, that's the end of this episode. So if you guys found this video informative or helpful at all, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any tips for catching redfin yourself, or if you have any redfin posts, photos that you would love to show me of your catches, post them to me in my social media and I'll share them on my Facebook page if you'd love me to. But thank you guys so much for coming along to this adventure. It's been a good bloody evening. Now I'm gonna walk back to the car and watch that beautiful sunset. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next adventure. Yo!